Hello, second graders. Welcome to our lesson on main idea and key details. Today we are going to be using our composition notebook. I would like you to turn to a fresh page and you are going to make your page match my page. You can see that I included the date up in the upper right corner. I titled this page Main Idea and Key Details because that is our comprehension skill. And I included the title of our book that we will be using, Wild Weather. You listened to me read it yesterday for Read Aloud. Then you are going to draw the graphic organizer with main idea at the top and 3 boxes where you can enter in your details. Make sure that your boxes are big enough that you can write your sentences inside of them. So think about your handwriting, about how big is your handwriting, and make your boxes big enough that it will fit. It's okay if it takes up the entire page. Press pause and press play again when you're ready to continue. Wild Weather by Seymour Simon. So again, you all listened to this yesterday for our read aloud, and you answered our question at the end of the story, which was, what year did the Valentine's Day blizzard occur? And for those of you that searched through the story and heard me say it, the year was 2007. So that was your answer to the discussion post yesterday. I'm not going to read the whole story all the way through again. Instead, I'm going to be looking at the pictures, using the text features to help me navigate the story, looking at the headings, reading the captions, and having the pictures help guide me to remind me about what I read yesterday. I will do this in order to identify the main idea and key details. Remember that the main idea is the most important point an author makes about a topic, and key details tell about and support the main idea. A closer look at our graphic organizer. Today, when we complete this work, I will find with you 2 details and the main idea. Your job at the end will be to come up with the 3rd detail for our story that matches our main idea. So be thinking about that as we fill out our form. So at the beginning of the story, it introduces us to wild weather, and that sometimes weather can be sunny and nice, but other times it could be cloudy and rainy and stormy. Pretty wild. The first type of wild weather that the author teaches us about is thunderstorms. Whoa! Thunderstorms. I remember reading about thunder and lightning and how it can be pretty dangerous. And during thunderstorms, there's heavy rain showers, big winds, thunder and lightning. Pretty wild if you ask me. So this entire first page was all about thunderstorms, thunder and lightning. So when I think about a detail, I think that's a pretty important detail, that thunderstorms have rain, wind, and thunder and lightning. So for our first key detail, I wrote down that a thunderstorm is a heavy rain shower with lightning and thunder. This was the first type of wild weather that the author taught us about. So go ahead and pause and write down your first key detail. Press play when you're ready to continue. All right, on to the next page, the next type of wild weather. Do you know what it is based on the picture? That's right, it's tornadoes. Whoa. Tornadoes are dark, twisting clouds that reach downward from the sky, and they can spin hundreds of miles per hour, lifting heavy trucks into the air and destroying homes and buildings. Pretty scary. I'm sure glad we don't have tornadoes in Washington. We learned about tornado warnings and tornado watches, where communities have to look out for when tornadoes form so that people can get to safety. And it's time for me to think of another detail. So let's look closer at our tornado page. For our first key detail, we described what a thunderstorm was. So maybe for our second key detail, we could describe what a tornado is. What would you say, second graders? How would you describe what a tornado is if someone asked you? I would say that a tornado is really high speed spinning winds and it can cause a lot of damage. So I wrote, a tornado has very high spinning wind and tornadoes can destroy houses. So if you're following along, our first detail was about thunderstorms. Our second detail is about tornadoes. Your job, second graders, at the end of this assignment is to come up with a third detail. So be thinking as we continue to look at the information on the pages following. This next page was all about what type of wild weather, second graders? Can you read the subheading? That's right, hurricanes. This entire page is all about hurricanes. Now, what's a hurricane again? Do you remember? That's right, they're the biggest storms of all. They form over warm ocean waters and they move until they reach land. They can stretch for hundreds of miles and are very dangerous. They bring storms and water and wind to the shore. The next type of wild weather that the author teaches us about is, you guessed it, blizzards. And this page is also the page where we found our answer to yesterday's discussion post. The Valentine's Day blizzard hit February 2007. What are blizzards? Well, I definitely see snow. So blizzards are huge snowstorms, winter snowstorms. So not only does it snow, but the wind blows, making the snow blow into the air, making it hard to see. People can get stuck in airports and on snowy highways. So the last two types of wild weather that we learned about were hurricanes and blizzards. Be thinking about those two types of wild weather for your third key detail. Right now, we are going to come up with the main idea. So remember that third detail is blank right now. You will enter in your detail after we come up with the main idea. Let's take a look. Remember that our first detail was about one type of wild weather called thunderstorms. Our second key detail was about another type of wild weather, tornadoes. So the author is teaching us about what? That's right, different types of wild weather. There can be many different kinds of wild weather, in cold weather and hot weather. So that was the author's main idea, that there are many types of wild or dangerous weather. The author was teaching us or giving us information about 4 different kinds of wild weather. So go ahead and press pause to write down our main idea and press play when you're ready to continue. All right. Now it is your turn. You made it this far, second graders. It is your turn to come up with your final detail. Remember that this detail should be about one of the wild weathers we just read about. We already have a detail for thunderstorms, and we have a detail about tornadoes. I would like you to choose either blizzards or hurricanes to give a detail about and tell the detail about that wild weather. Once you finish writing in your detail in your composition notebook, you are finished. Great job today, second graders.